In this activity, I'm going to have my students reading The Grapes of Wrath in order to understand the Great Depression. Um, I think this is a great way as a book share or a way to pull out fiction and connect history in a debate and conversation with students. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to kind of have them take notes during the discussion and any quotes they brought or any resources they brought ahead of time to class. And we're going to sit down and kind of discuss big themes of the Great Depression through the lens of the Grapes of Wrath. The first thing we're going to kind of talk about is the Great Depression as a whole, kind of how what factors exist in it, how um, what caused it, kind of just our basic kind of understanding through both the Grapes of Wrath, but also other times and lessons we've had previously. Then we're gonna kind of I'll ask them the question about the Dust Bowl and what are these important factors in the Dust Bowl, and how it plays a huge role in the Grapes of Wrath. So I want students to be discussing and answering these questions. Kind of the causes of the Dust Bowl, the impact, kind of how it has adjusted and changed agriculture, and all these questions are important in bringing life to kind of things that seem historic. Um, and this will be one long running kind of conversation, debate, where students are taking notes and discussing literature and using examples from the book to answer and discuss these questions. Then we're going to move into the American Dream, and kind of like what the American Dream had on an impact during this time, and the importance of this concept, and how there's this disparity of and creation of American identity through the American Dream. Um, and I want to get into labor unions and discuss the different labor unions from the book, and kind of the laws that were put into place and the reforms. And kind of I want students to ask the question of the pros and the cons of labor unions. What are the good parts about it? What are the bad parts about it? These are important kind of questions I want to develop in this lesson, where students are asking not just labor unions are bad or labor unions are good, but how to think about the good and the bad of all things, and how to kind of find that center where you're not one so leaning one way or leaning the other way, but instead you're kind of finding this understanding of both sides in order to find ways of creating kind of healthier discussions and communication. um, and then lastly, or and I want to move into kind of this throughout. One of the themes I want to talk about throughout all of this is that disparity between wealth and poverty, seeing how economic impact affects poor people and the poor communities and the wealthy communities, and how students are able to kind of connect this important concept of the Great Depression of wealth and poverty, and how it's continually translating to modern times, and how this impact and this effect translates forward. Um, and lastly, just kind of big themes of the Grapes of Wrath, kind of bigger concepts, kind of like I want students to be pulling in and out different ideas and big themes of the book. And I want all of this to be kind of an organic conversation that I'm kind of guiding as the students kind of move through their conversations and asking their questions and debating these topics. Um, and that will kind of wrap up the lesson. Once they're done, I will have students turn in their paper, and or their notes, and once they turn them in, they can leave for class, and hopefully by doing this kind of lesson and activity, students are able to take so many different concepts and put it all into one idea. Where we're taking a piece of literature, we're taking this huge topic and time period of the Great Depression, and then we're talking about theme and idea and identity, and kind of meshing those all together. So students are kind of creating their own ideas and concepts, but in a healthy discussion with their peers.